then maybe we deliver for lavish or.
Yes, exactly. And like you said, yeah, become more than just. Can you sit there a second? I'm sorry. Of course, they just updated this. My speak isn't available right now. Yeah, it better be. Okay. And I hope we're having technical difficulties again. Could that be me?
It's YouTube's fault.
It's YouTube's fault.
We blame
for sure.
YouTube. But cheers if you're out there.
Yeah, keep talking. Can you dance, Rob? Can you tap?
I can
tap
definitely
dance.
dance.
Okay.
Do the Cabbage Patch. Open your wine if you haven't already.
And why is it sideways on the screen? Somebody help me. Now take a deep breath. And if anyone is out there, can you send me a quick message via YouTube? Because then we will know that the new software is working or not. Oh, we are sideways. And you know what? I have no idea why, Kristen, but thank you. I'm going to try to fix it, and then we will say hello.
And sideways, isn't that fitting? That we're sideways? We will fix it so that you don't have to lay sideways.
Can you explain why?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
It's not sideways. Rob?
Can you do? You put it in the holder the other way.
Give me just a second.
But pour yourself a glass of wine in the meantime, and we'll get this figured out.
Am I still sideways on there, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, bear with us, everybody. This is crazy. My phone is not sideways, so I do not know why we are sideways. And I'm going to ditch this software. This software. Still sideways, Rob? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. None of the buttons are working. Give me 30 seconds.
Well, welcome everybody. We'll get this we'll get this figured out, but feel free to start munching and drinking. And Gina's she's got a solution.
Tell them to close their eyes. It's going to jiggle.
Yeah,
We're going a Blair Witch project.
Close your eyes for a minute, or turn your screen off. This could make you dizzy, or just drink more.
Okay, ask Kristen now how are we looking, or you can tell me how we're looking.
Yeah, I have a little delay here, so. This.
Better?
It's moving. It's moving.
Okay. I can only see you. Is it both of us if it's right here?
It's a really narrow screen.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
We can probably both get in that screen if it's right there.
Right here?
We'll have to be tight. You have to deal with.
Okay. Everybody serious. Be right there.
Ooh.
If it's here and then backwards, I'll get us tight.
Nice. Oh yeah, I think this can work.
This can work, okay. And I'm almost there, everyone. Bear with us, and then we will please forgive us.
Nice. All right, this is a very, they're on it. They've poured, they've sipping.
They've poured and they're sipping, and then they're gonna see me lose my top. And then we'll discuss.
Gina, we have a whole bottle of wine here just for you. And cheese.
I'll tell you that story too, yeah.
And there's more wine if we need
it. You can see it. Robert's like, she'll be okay, everybody. Okay, bro. Almost.
Okay.
Tell me there.
Yep.
And if I get it. How's that? It's not the best screen, but are we in?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on a little delay, but let's see.
Oh my God. How's that?
Okay, I think we're settled, so you're gonna have to come and make sure we get in the screen here.
Okay.
I'll just...
Everyone, hello. I'm Gina, and I am pissed off, angry at the moment. Rob, can I tell you? You want to know why? Ask me
Yes. Why are you so pissed?
Welcome, everyone. This is why I'm pissed. We have been using this beautiful streaming software for a year now.
Mm-hmm.
No problems. It's push a button, go, right? I mean, the other problems were my issues, technical difficulties. Today, the software has changed. There's 1,000 different buttons. I don't know why my screen is standing up and I can't make it go sideways when the phone was sideways.
Yeah, weird.
I am not happy with live stream right now, so I will be figuring out if we go somewhere else. So I'm giving my bad review to live stream, and I'm pouring myself some Carmenera.
Double your pour, I think, is what you should do.
Have you ever seen me in this state?
I've never seen you this angry, but you know, nothing a little wine can't fix.
And I'm sweating. But I'm so happy to see you all. I see Kristen. I see Jason. I see, was Sarah, if Sarah's out there, a Carmenera fan. Oh my God, Carol, all the usual suspects. Thank you for tuning in.
I heard through the Carmenere vine that it's Sarah Thomas's favorite varietal.
Yes.
Did you hear that?
I did hear that through the Carmenere vine. So cheers to that, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I am ready to be a wino, although after Sunday night's festivities, I said I was not going to be a wino for a while. And now this happens.
Wait, what happened Sunday night?
Or Monday night when we had our little retreat. We took the managers. We did a little retreat. Robbie was there. Let's just say I was dancing Vogue. I was voguing at about midnight after lots of bottles of wine.
Were you? So
One of them was this.
I think I went to bed at around 10 o'clock, but I heard you. I mean, I went to sleep and I heard people dancing and screaming upstairs. And I think that was Gina.
It would be. It was me and Sarah, another gal, our diva, Sarah.
Del Mar manager.
Yes, but this was one of the bottles that we enjoyed that evening, so I will enjoy it again. And thank you, Kristen, for the kind words. And Tiffany, hello, welcome. George, welcome.
Welcome, everybody. So yeah, it's going to look a little different. We're going to be more vertical today, but we still have the same cheese and the same wine. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And thank you for bearing with us. But please type in your questions, comments, anything, and we'll go ahead.
We'll go from there.
We'll go from there.
And if you're seeing streaming issues on your end, it apparently looks like my internet's having some issues as well. So this is just one of those. Is it Monday? Wino Monday? It's not.
It's Wednesday, but it kind of feels like a Monday for us because we've been gone.
Okay. So, anyways. Back to the retreat really quick. Jason noticed that he saw the picture of us at the camel farm. And yes, Jason, we went to a camel farm, which is just outside of Ramona. Yeah. And we did go with a hopeful expectation that we could A, either taste the camel milk or B, hear of any plans for cheese. And just as suspected, nada and nada.
Yeah, they said we're not even allowed, the camel milk it's not allowed for human consumption.
Nope, not at all. It's zero. In fact, they can't make any foods here out of camel milk. Mm-hmm. They did have camel milk chocolates, but they import those.
It was not from their camel's milk.
No, it was from like Middle East. Where did he say that was from?
Arab Emirates.
Arab Emirates. Camel milk chocolate. So we had that. I couldn't say that I tasted any difference. Did you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it was just kind of
exactly. So unfortunately, no camel milk to be had until I guess the FDA rules that camel milk is okay. But it's interesting nonetheless.
What they did make was soaps and lotions and things like that. So, but they are cute little buggers, and they aren't they? Well, not really little.
Are you like 80? Cute little buggers.
So no, we got to go visit a camel farm. Yeah. We visited a dairy farm in Escondido. Mm-hmm. That was Escondido, right?
Yeah, Ramona Escondido.
And we did some other things, wine tasting.
Yeah, more cow picks to come.
Yeah.
Interesting learning about the milks, the cows, and such. But without further ado, let's tell everybody what cheeses they have so we can start nibbling and pairing and telling you a little bit about this lovely, lovely Carmenere.
Yes. Okay, so the cheeses I'm gonna go in order from the lid there. Mm-hmm. But the first one, the Brie Fermier, is the soft one. Oops. I can't really dig into it and pick it up,
Oh
which
yeah,
is a
it's
good
the
thing.
softest one on the plate.
It's the Brie. It's the Brie looking one with a white rind. It's one big chunk.
Oh yeah, and I gotta
One
get
beautiful
closer
chunk.
because we're way back here for this.
The second cheese is the Funky Monk, and there are 2 pieces of that one, and it looks like
Is
this.
that a great name? What?
Funky Monk. So it's a washed rind cheese, which also means that it's going to be a stinky cheese, and we'll get to that in a minute. But that'll be the second cheese. The third cheese is this really crusty looking one.
That should be the funky one. That looks funky. I can't wait to dive in because I'm a little worried.
This
Scared.
plate is really stinky. Like your whole
Yeah.
place is stinking up, and I'm not sure which cheese it is. It might be this one. It might be the Funky Monk, but that's the Foglie di Castagno.
Castagno.
So that's a really unique
Si.
one, which we'll talk about. And then the fourth cheese is the one that's covered with the herbs and rosemary, and it's a harder cheese, but it's called Romao.
Is it shocking, everybody, that we have a cheese covered in rosemary as much as we've been babbling about rosemary all year?
And of course, rosemary next to it. And then we've got grapes, blueberries, apricots, figs,
And did you see these little guys?
crackers. Yeah. So what is?
Cashews.
But with is there some kind of spice or some kind of mixture of
A little sweetness on it.
flavor on
Mhm,
it?
mhm.
The jam looks kind of like a spicy garlic or something. But what is it?
Oh, I didn't taste it. Jump in there. We'll taste it and decide. I hope it's the spicy apple garlic jam, you guys. We have that. That's one of our favorites. It's so good. It'll be good with the rosemary, whatever it is.
I think it's a spicy apple.
Yeah.
Oh no, it might be something else.
Apricot?
No,
Oh,
it's earth and vine, but it's one of their other flavors. So
oh, apricot, chili apricot or something. Anyway,
it could be, or it could be the pear one too.
I'm going to go down and say that this is a grape.
Okay.
All right, perfect. So, first should we talk about the Carmenere?
Carmenere. But feel free to dig into the cheeses. We'll go through each one in order, but you can definitely get ahead of the game if you want to start snacking. What can we say about the Carmenere? I didn't know much about it. I had to read and look it up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the most popular wines of Chile. And it's interesting, Rob, it's just like the Spanish wines, and we haven't done them all yet, but like the Rioja Tempranillos, you don't see them much here, but you definitely don't see Carmenere so much, but you should. It's pretty much, if I'm going to say in a nutshell what it is, I would say it's Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
a good way to say it. And this is a nice one. It is round. It's fruity and it's bold. So it's going to stand up, I think, to these little stinkers.
Good, and that's look at the cheese plate in front of you. That's a pretty bold cheese plate, I will say. We always say mild to wild. Well, the first cheese, Brie Fermier, is not a mild cheese. That is a stinky cheese. I mean, that's a strong cheese.
Yeah.
So what I learned about the Carmenere is that it's originally from the Medoc, which is in Bordeaux. So it is actually one of the original 6 red Bordeaux grapes, and they are Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot. So these are like the biggest and some of the most famous, legendary red grapes out there. Malbec, Petit Verdot, and Carmenere.
And Carmenere.
So Carmenere was it's largely a blending grape. The father grape of Carmenere is Cabernet Franc.
I like Cabernet Franc.
Which is also the father of Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. So they're all kind of similar, and it does get mixed up with some of those other big, bold Bordeaux grapes. It gets mixed up with Merlot quite often, and they're about the same in terms of strength and like roundness and robustness.
Yeah.
There was a how do you say it? Phylloxera?
Oh, I think you said that right.
Did I? Phylloxera outbreak in the 19th century, like in the 1860s in Bordeaux and all over Europe, and a lot of the Carmenere did not survive. It just doesn't. I guess it's not as. It doesn't survive as well as some of the other grapes. And so there were some Chilean winemakers who had come over previously and taken back cuttings to Chile. They actually thought that what they were bringing back was Merlot, It turned out it was this. So they actually got confused by the varietals because they look and taste pretty similar.
Pretty similar, okay.
But it turned out it was Carmenere, and now there's very little Carmenere produced in Bordeaux, where it comes from, and like over 90% of it comes from Chile.
From Chile.
It likes sunshine. It likes to really ripen up in those types of
So
places.
better environment for it down there. So this winery, this is really a great story. This Laura Hartwig, the winery started almost like 100 years ago with Laura, and what did she name this? It was she describes this wine as having a grace and character. And that's how she kind of defined herself in all her wines. Laura Hartwig, grace and character. So I thought that was kind of interesting and cool. But now, of course, the family runs it. I think it's the grandsons now, whatever generation down is kind of running the show. But this is her on the label that you have. Where this comes from, it's in the Santa Cruz province of Chile. It's about 2.5 hours outside of Santiago. So on the Pacific side of the country. I've never been to Chile.
I've never been to South America.
South America.
Have you never been to South America?
I have been to Buenos Aires. And I love the South American wines. We need to get into that because there's so many of them, and we will do more of them. But what we don't ever have, Rob, is South American cheeses.
I was going to say that. We never see anything from South America. There are tons of great ones down there. And same with Central America and Mexico. There's tons of great cheeses. There are none available to us. So if somebody wants to get on that and start that business, bringing those cheeses into the United States, we will buy them from you.
Yes, could we hire someone as a importer of South American cheeses?
Terrific wines, of course. Terrific meat. So many great.
Oh, that's true.
Beef cows and types of red meat that comes from there.
Yeah.
But not. We just don't see. And some of the great cheeses, we just don't see any here.
Interesting. Now I'm going to have to ask again, if somebody's out there and not having an issue, although I do see viewers popping up, we are having internet connection issues on this end, so it is me, not you. Shocking. And I apologize to the bottom of my heart. It's really throwing me because you all stick with us and we're just having these issues. But if you are there, somebody say, hey, and I'll say, hey, but I haven't seen a comment pop through. But I do see some viewers. At any rate, let's get started with the cheese, and I'll keep working this tapping here and let Robbie G do what he does best, which is talk.
What would one of our tastings be without some technical difficulties or something?
Or wine explosion.
Or wine explosion.
Or wine explosion. Okay, I gotta share you. Oh, Jason is good. Thank you, Jason, for letting me know. Remember Cava? Our Cava, geyser of Cava. So these were my papers, Rob. Look, I hung them out. Literally, I hung them out like on a line outside to dry, and they're good. So my notes have been saved.
Beautiful.
So we can still see all varietals that we need to do.
I see you're crossing them off as we go through.
Oh, and there's so many. Like we got years of varietals to go through. At any rate.
Good.
But like I said to you earlier, I'm not going to be opening it live on TV anymore. I had troubles with the cork that time. I had troubles with it. Forget it.
And I won't be shaking it up as I'm running.
Whatever.
in with a warm bottle of Cava. So we'll get into the first cheese, and hopefully you've already had a bite or two. But it is the Brie Fermier. And
I can smell it, Rob. Okay, this is one of my favorite Bries. Like when people say they don't like Brie, I feel that they have not tried Brie Fermier. No?
I think this is my favorite Brie. Like not one of my favorites. I would say this is my favorite. So the piece that we have, and I'm guessing we all have a piece from the same wheel. There's a little bit of firmness in the middle, so it's really gooey towards the rind. Rind is edible, so eat the rind. It's good. Try it. Of course, if you don't like it, you don't have to eat all of it. But the center is firm and kind of fudgy. That just means it's not fully ripe yet, which means it will get even stronger and stinkier if we wait longer on this one. But I can't wait.
I can't either. That is so good. Even Rob, you mentioned, it's firmer inside, so it's not as ripe as it could be. Like it'll just get gooier and ooier and gooier as it ripens. But even without it being in that condition, it's spectacular. To me, it screams mushrooms. Like I feel like I'm just I'm eating a bowl of mushrooms. I don't know.
It has like mushroomy, kind of like oniony. A lot of these really, like the traditional bries that come from the region of Brie, which this does, east of Paris, are kind of like broccoli or cauliflower. They have that kind of vegetal essence, which seems maybe not like a great thing, but it's
a great thing.
It is a great thing.
It truly is a great thing. You get some of those rubbery bries that are not really bries. Like, and you compare it to something like this, Rob. No wonder people disagree. Wait, what's that song?
Who am I
Sweet dreams
to
and disagree? You can't disagree if you tease this one. I'm sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
So Brie is a place, and as I said, it's east of Paris. There are a handful of bries that are protected by the French AOC system, which protects all their agricultural food products. So Brie is one of the biggies when it comes to traditional French cheeses, of course. I mean, Roquefort, you have Comté. I mean, there's a few of them that just go way back, and they've been made the same way for centuries.
Everybody equates Brie in France, right?
Yeah, 100%. Brie with France, but even more specifically, it is connected to this region, Île-de-France, which is the same region where Paris is located. So it's like central, more towards the north. It's next to Champagne, Burgundy, so it's
kind of surrounded.
Yeah, Burgundy and
Loire down here.
The Loire, but Brittany is up there, and so there's a lot of like open pasture. Camembert is from Normandy, which is kind of next door to the north, which is it's the brie that comes from Normandy. But these traditional French bries are more like this. Everything else is a brie style, much like a sparkling wine is
champagne
is
style.
Like a champagne style from another place. So there's 4, 5, or 6 that are protected. I don't know that this one is actually protected.
The Meaux is. Right?
Yeah, there's one called Brie de Meaux, which is from the town of Meaux in the historic region of Brie. That's protected. Brie de Nangy from the town of Nangy in the historic region of Meaux, or region of Brie. This one means Brie. Or means farmer's brie or farmhouse brie or farmstead Brie Fermier.
And that's a good one because there's a lot of cheeses that they are fermiers. So now you know.
And what that means is you have two kind of like ways of doing it. You have farmhouse or you have cooperative. And farmhouse versions are made with one farmer's animal's milk. And so they pull all of that cow's milk, and those cows are grazing in the same place at the same time, and it's very unique to that place, and it's a completely unique cheese. Cooperative style is where they buy milk from a bunch of different farmers and they blend it all together. There's still a ton of great cheeses made that way. They're just not unique to that time and place.
Exactly. So this captures exactly what they're eating and the region, the everything. And I've got to say, Rob, with this wine, this is perfect.
What happened to your wine?
You didn't pour me any. Barely this much. I mean, it was only like this much. Okay, if you go to here. It's not like sake. Like, it's a good thing. I don't have to wait for somebody to pour. The tradition with sake is you can't pour your own. Oh. It really sucks for me. And the glasses are this big.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I digress again, but what's up with that? I really prefer wine. You can pour as much as you want. But anyways, that Brie, together they're fabulous. And actually, the Brie Fermier, Camembert, they're always good with the Cabernet. So it makes sense, right? If this is the daddy grape, what did you say, to the Carmenere?
Yeah, it's Carmenere is the child of Cabernet Franc. So it's like a cousin, or maybe a sister of Cabernet Sauvignon. So
I can't keep track of my own family, let alone the grape family.
Well, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cab is Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc. Those are the parents.
Sauvs.
And then Merlot is Cab Franc and Magdeleine Noir de Charentes.
Whoa,
Did I say that right? I've never heard of that varietal. Did you know that's Merlot?
I did not know it's Merlot. I've heard the varietal, but I did not know that that's Merlot.
Did I say it right?
It's hard to say because I can't say it. But you know what I just pictured you making? As a professor and all, is a family tree with the grapes. You know how you have a family tree?
Don't give me any ideas,
uncle
Gina.
And the brother and the sister, on the different branches.
You know how
on
much
the different vines.
Gina knows how much I love history and how I'm like obsessed with.
Add it to the list.
Yes, I have outlines and outlines and hundreds of pages of of history, and I have I have hundreds of cheese notes that all kind of bring in history, and I even have like all of like the kings and queens from Spain and England and their family trees all in my notes like sketched out.
I'm gonna buy you some nerd glasses.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good. So our friend Jason says, because his wife Megan actually asked if there's different younger versions of this, and absolutely, Jason, Megan, the younger ones will be more firm, like the center.
Megan, is it? I mean, I'm just wondering, is this? Are you looking for something milder? So like one that you can get younger, less ripe, so that it's firmer and maybe milder. Is it a texture thing, or is it a strength of flavor thing?
Okay.
Because when we do get Bries, oftentimes we get them really, really young, almost so young that we don't even want to put them out.
Yeah, because for us, they don't have enough flavor to put out. So it can be, you can find a Brie that's always going to stay milder in flavor, or you'll find one like this that will get more intense as it ages. This is where the cheesemonger can come in and help, because it's tricky. They kind of all look the same on the outside.
Yeah. And they also make a Camembert. So if you like this, but you want something just a little bit different but similar, you can get a Camembert, and they come in half-pound wheels or so, and they can be even stronger than this cheese at times, and they're kind of like the Norman version of Brie. I mean, they're in the Brie family. It is a Brie style, but Camembert is its own cheese. And then I mentioned, there's hundreds of other Brie style cheeses. Anything that is a double cream, triple cream, fromage dauphinois, which is one of I think it is probably our most famous cheese, is a double cream. And then we always have in each shop probably at least 4 or 5 triple creams, usually, a few, and they're made here in the United States. They're made all over France, and those are the ones that just taste like butter. To me, I mean, you can't go wrong when something tastes like butter, but they're a little bit more one-dimensional than something like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, and sometimes you want that.
Yeah.
Just you want that cream. You just want that lusciousness. Sometimes you want mega flavor. It just really depends. And sometimes you're in the mood for one or the other.
Yeah.
But age plays the biggest part on making this strong or not. Because we've had Brie Fermiers that are way too young, and they just don't have this mushroomy intensity. So it really comes down to looking at. In fact, people that know cheese, Rob, you've experienced this too, right? They'll say, "Oh, do you have the Camembert?" And we say, "Yes, it's filet," and they'll squish it. Just to hold it. It's wrapped in a nice little paper, and
oftentimes they have French accents,
just like me, which is not so French, but I try. But you can squish it, and of course, the squishier it is, the stronger it is.
Yeah. So the Camemberts come in, the wheel, which is 8 to 10 ounces, and you don't want to cut it open. Like you like that to present it, you want to have it in that wheel, and so you have no way of telling if it's ripe or not except to feel it.
Squishing it.
That's the only way you can tell. So when you see a chef in our shop touching, caressing our cheeses, that's what they're doing. The Fermier, they come in it's about 2 pounds, maybe. Wheel, it's a little bit bigger. The Brie de Meaux and the Nangis, they come
like
in
6 pounds,
5 or 6 pounds, something like that. But
super cool. Can I tell you? Okay, did you see the movie Julie and Julia?
Yes.
And Julia?
Yeah.
About Julia Childs.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
And she went to she introduced her sister to like the best cheeses in the world, and isn't life beginning when you try these cheeses?
That's a good Julia Childs.
That's pretty good, right? So in the movie, Rob, I don't know if you know, the cheese they used was a Brie.
Hey, hold on, don't tell me. Do you want to quiz me?
I do. Do you know what cheese she said will change her life? She spread it on the baguette, and it was on the cheese plate when they went to the restaurant.
It's a cheese that has a little fern on the outside of it. It's called Calumier.
Calumier, but with the fern, it's called...
Oh. Calumier was in it.
Yep.
What is the other one? Oh, gosh.
You'll go, when I say.
Give me a hint.
Yeah.
What letter
starts
does
with
it
an
start?
F. Like fern.
Yeah, it's...
F-O. U-R. F-O-U-G. F-O-U-G.
Fougaroux.
Yeah!
Fougaroux.
I think
I haven't seen it in a long time.
But can I tell you, because we visited the cheesemaker And the like grandfather goes out every day into just the woods, just which is right, like 100 yards from the creamery, and comes back bearing fern branches.
Oh yeah.
So that's pressed onto each top. It is really for beauty more than anything, but pressed on and wrapped before it gets shipped on over. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's it's.
But it's this cheese, really, essentially.
So they make Camemberts in Normandy. They have a couple. There's 3 or 4 other cheeses that are AOC protected, and Pont l'Evêque is one. It's kind of a stinky cheese. There's one called Neuchâtel, which is a kind of a brie looking cheese. They're all similar, and that's a thing about the regionality. Is like if you look at a place, a lot of their cheeses are similar. I mean, because they're all cow's milk. They're made in the same way. And then another one is called Livarot.
That's a stinker.
Yeah, it's a stinky cheese, and they have one version that's wrapped in like a bulrush, and they call it the Colonel because it looks like the stripes on a Colonel's uniform.
Oh yeah, the red.
And but some of those, because of E. coli, because we're really strict on what we can import and sell here. They can't import the traditional version. We import a version that has like a red paper line on the outside, which is really sad.
It is sad because when you see the real deal, you get sad.
Yeah, and they make them all by hand. But that's a cool thing that they do is everything is by hand. So like the ferns are placed on there, and it's really neat.
It's super cool. All I know is a brie lover, like I just think this is the ultimate of bries. I don't think you can get a better one, so hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I love it. So I tasted garlic on it. Did I say that? I get garlicky. And you know what, Rob? We talk about this with truffles. I feel I would like to do a scientific study, but I feel that men typically take truffles and some of this, and they lean toward the garlic side of flavors, and women tend to say more mushroom flavor. So I don't know why that is, but it's truly in all how many years? Yeah. 17 years when you're like, do you taste mushroom or garlic? The guys tend to lean garlic.
I didn't know that was divided upon sex lines.
I didn't either, but I don't know. I'm not claiming it's scientific at the moment.
Well,
but I would like to do an
your
official study.
Hypothesis.
Exactly. But I mean, a little bit of garlic. Like you said, it's just earth. And I wore earthy tones just because I knew this was an earthy plate today.
No, you did not do that on purpose.
Did.
Really?
I did.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I want to try to, I'm the terroir. I'm trying to put some terroir into the whole situation.
And what are anyone's thoughts? Has anyone commented on the wine? Is it? This is a powerful wine. Look at the color on it.
Yeah.
It's so dark and deep. And
it is. I mean, this really is one of the deeper ones we've had. We've tended to be in some of the lighter wines lately.
Yeah.
This is deep. It's got good legs, as they say, where it sticks to the sides.
And that usually means it's higher alcohol when you can see like the legs on the side of the
and this
glass.
one, 13.5%. So, slightly.
Yeah.
I just love them all. This is a problem, but...
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right, the next one is the Funky Monk, and just
can't wait to get into this.
To remind you guys, it's this one, this floppy one.
That's nice, and it has the little reddish rind, right?
Yeah,
and a little bit red on the edge. I want to smell it first. Always smell it first, and smell the inside, the paste. The inside's called the paste, and then the outside, the rind, obviously.
Okay, my first thought is smell-wise, it has like a bacony, meaty smell to it.
For sure.
Does it not?
I love bacon.
Or like a bacony, like just like a hammy, salty thing going on. And that's interesting. I'm going to go in for my first
Going
bite.
in, and it is bacony interest. Okay, so on the wine, your answer is from Jason. So, okay, Jason, we're in the same boat. Because he said that he likes it, but Megan not so much. She likes Pinot Noir. Can I tell you?
Megan likes the lighter wine.
What? Yeah, maybe. A little more fruity for it. Jason. Roger, that's my husband and I, are opposites on wine. I mean, every time we go to a restaurant, I was like, oh, I love that one. He's like, I hate that one. But we've been together a long time, so.
Well, you know what Paula Abdul said.
Opposites. We listened to that the other day, but I can't sing it right now.
It came on in the car when we had the 80s or 90s channel on.
All 90s, all the time. That was enough time for me. But let's see, we've got more comments. George, the wine definitely cuts the richness of the cheese for sure. When it's something this bold and luscious, it will do that, which is kind of fun. And Tiffany thought it was spicy on its own. Yes, that's a good word for it. It's just spicy and rich to me. I mean, I said, we've been on the lighter side of things, so to me, this one really strikes me as bold, spicy, and rich. So yeah, thanks for and Kristen, the wine's great with the brie and jam. Didn't try the jam yet, but agree with you on the brie.
And the fun thing about pairing too is like sometimes if it's not a wine that you gravitate towards or that you drink often, it's fun to try the different cheeses, and maybe one of the cheeses will kind of change it, or the pairing itself, you'll discover something that worked for you.
Before we get back to funky, because we're talking about this wine, the richness, the boldness, would this not have gone so great with the tomahawk steak?
Oh my gosh.
Which is why, like Buenos Aires, Chile, they're big on the meat and the steak. Great wine.
Yeah.
Right?
Gina and Roger helped too. I'll give Roger
No, he
some
didn't.
credit.
He flipped it. Okay.
Well,
I think
he
give him credit for that?
He lit the coals, and it was cold out there.
They were like lighted on their own coals.
We cooked a ginormous tomahawk steak. And there were 6 of us. I think I ate half of it.
Did you? Nice. Well done. Okay. I'm just saying it would go very well with meat. Yeah. And which is nice. The Funky Monkey is.
You should give a shout out. Give a shout out to Sepulveda.
Sepulveda Meats. If you want a tomahawk, you guys, that's delicious, fresh, go to Sepulveda
in Golden Hill.
Would go great with the Carmenere. And it would go great with. I would melt brie. I would melt Funky Monk.
Yeah.
On top of it as well.
So Funky Monk, you guys, is cow's milk. It is from Belgium. It is the cheese answer to the beers that they make, which are the Trappist beers.
They're so famous for these washed rinds.
Yeah.
Chimay.
Sometimes these are even called Trappist cheeses. It's kind of a family. So one term for this family is Trappist or monastery style cheeses. Another term is washed rind. And another term is stinky cheese.
The one we can all relate to.
When we say stinky cheese, we're referring to washed rind. It's just more fun to say stinky cheese. There, of course, are other cheeses that are strong or pungent in flavor and smell. All of them are. But this is specifically what we're talking about, this type of cheese. And when we say washed rind, it just refers to something that happens during the aging process. The cheesemaker or the affineur, if that's a different person who ages the cheese, will wash the cheese. Usually they'll take a rag and scrub it. First they'll dip the rag into a brine, salt water, but they can use other things as well. So it's like a liquid mixed with salt. Sometimes in Belgium, where they make a lot of beer, they will wash the cheese in beer. Other places they'll wash the cheese in whey, or it can be spirits, it can be wine.
Right, whiskey, which we will get to. And it can be anything, right? It can be just so many things. But brine is the most popular, the number one, because that's salt. And again, the reason salt is in there, it's for flavor and preservation.
Yep.
So it makes sense.
Salt stops bad bacteria and it encourages the good bacteria.
Perfect way to put it.
In the rind on the washed rind, that's the tell on a washed rind cheese or a Trappist style, monastery style cheese, is the rind will be like kind of a pinkish, orangish. This one's more orange.
Like sunset. I always like to say it's like sunset.
Yeah, it has kind of.
Sunset.
Oh, do you know that Carmenere means crimson? It comes from the French word for crimson.
No.
And it refers to the changing of the leaves in the fall. So that's where the name comes from. But washed rinds have kind of crimson, like an amber or crimson
they do.
hue to them.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that little. It's also very good with the wine. Rob, I'm not sure which I like better with the wine.
I'm going to have another piece.
I feel that the brie and the wine stood together very well with the brie. I think this one, they blend like they almost become one. I don't know, personally, taste buds.
Look I have this little hole in my piece.
So you do, a little mouse got in there. So Kristen asked if it's a bit like a Gouda because it reminds you of a Gouda. So that's interesting because of the texture maybe, Kristen? Yep. Which is so interesting because most Goudas we know, I think, have that, what do we call it, pliable?
You're onto something there, Kristen. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. Like the other kind of tell, if you will, for these types of cheeses is they have this, the texture oftentimes is this, it's like this young Gouda texture.
Yeah, so like a young Gouda.
It's sort of mouth coating. A lot of young Goudas, meaning like the ones that I grew up having, like the 2-month
yes,
mild,
they're very young and
they're very
squishy,
mild. They're squishy. Oftentimes they get smoked, and This has a washed rind, but it has a little bit of that, like, kind of, this is not smoked, but there is kind of a smokiness or a meatiness to this cheese. And so there are similarities.
Yes, and get this. Here's what I'm going to throw out, Professor. You can tell me. You just mentioned that whole regional terroir thing. I mean, Belgium is right by the Netherlands. So you're going to have that spillover of the similar style of cheese based on the borders.
And they're
so close, right?
And there are some Gouda styles made in Belgium. OG Crystal is one that we featured on this and these tastings. So there is some crossover and a lot of influence. There's a cheese from northern France called Mimolette, which is a Gouda style cheese, or it's based on
right at the border from
It used to be basically Flanders, but that's based on another cheese called Edam, which is also a town pretty close by. So they are very similar. They might also even be made in the same way, like meaning like a washed rind, which takes away some acidity, which gives it kind of this type of texture, and also like a little bit of a sweetness too, on the paste.
Yeah, and it is kind of. I think the paste is sweet, Rob, but I think the outside it has that slight grittiness, which I just adore with the washed rinds. Literally adore.
So these were cheeses that they're called monastery Trappist cheeses because they were originally made by monks in the Middle Ages in monasteries. Lots of them to this day are still made in monasteries. In other instances, they were originally made in monasteries, and then they were passed on to the town, or like factories took over production. Epoisse is a really famous one from France. It's now made by independent companies, private companies. There's a cheese called Port Salut, which is originally from Brittany in France. It's now made by big factories. Some of them are still. There's one called Chimay, which is from Belgium, and it's still made by the monks who make the beer, Chimay. So this is more, it's like more of a handmade. I'm not sure who the maker is. I think it's a family who makes it, but they just make it in the monastery style. But the reason that they were very popular, and the reason they were made in monasteries and then continue to be made for centuries, is because they had certain dietary restrictions, and it was harder to come by meat. And so they would make a cheese, and when they noticed a weird growth on the rind during the aging process, they went in there and they washed it off. Little did they know they were encouraging this bacteria growth.
That's a great little tidbit of history.
And so all they knew was it kind of changed the color, but it made the flavor way more robust and like kind of oniony, bacony, meaty, brothy.
Yeah, which could be a meal then.
Yes. And so this replaced meat for them. And so they always had it around, and it became it became a staple. And it's filling, it's energy dense, as we always say.
I mean, I could be down for cheese over meat. No, I need cheese and meat. But
I mean, I can do without meat sometimes,
but not
because of cheese.
Yeah, if you're gonna give up, you had to give up one. Is it meat or cheese? It's just meat.
I think I would give up meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would, because I think I would.
I would too. I mean, if you had to, like, I don't want to ever have to, but
I feel lighter sometimes when I do cut meat down a little bit.
But not cheese. You never cut cheese.
No, I never cut down cheese.
I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's just silly.
That'd be silly. All right, let's go on.
We'd be hypocrites.
Yeah. That'd be really sad. And Rob's. Okay, Benissimo's been around for, I can't even do the math. So let's say 18 years.
Okay.
You, 12 of them.
Yeah.
Have you eaten cheese almost every day, like me?
Probably, yeah.
Yay, me too.
I'll say this, during my time at Benissimo,
Your time? You're like in jail. My time. Doing my time.
I'm doing my time. But my tolerance for cheese has gone way up. I can eat a lot more.
Is that good?
In a sitting, yeah. Wow. And also my preference, I used to at first maybe I would go more towards the milder ones, the younger ones, but now I go right for the stinkies.
For the stinkies and crazy ones like the next one.
As wild
people
as
have jumped
wild
ahead
as I
on
can find.
Because wild is good.
Oh yeah, we're just going.
So you're just going on the wild side.
We're just flapping our gums here. Shall we try the next one?
Yeah, Jason's already jumped ahead and tried. Jason, I can look. Everyone looking at it, it looks like a pile of, I don't know, this Castagno. No, Foglie de Castagno. We're going to Italy now.
Foglie?
Foglie, sorry.
Foglie?
No, I think it's Foglie. I don't know. It's Italian.
Well, I mean, can anyone help us out?
Foglie di Castagno.
Foglie di Castagno.
Castagno. You gotta go to Castagno.
Foglie means leaves.
Uh-huh.
Castagno means chestnut.
Yes. So,
literally,
leaves of chestnut.
Wrapped in chestnut leaves.
Yeah.
So it's a cheese that is named for, I mean, it just describes the way that it's made or aged.
Mm-hmm.
The full name actually is Testone.
Oh, that's a good term, yeah.
And then Foglie di Castagno. Sometimes we shorten a little bit for you guys because it's just too much for like a sign. Plus, like if I ever have to write that, it's very difficult to write all that. Plus, I have the worst handwriting anyway.
Everyone saw Steel Magnolias. He has the handwriting of a serial killer. I tell him that every time.
Have you ever seen your doctor's handwriting?
That's it.
There you go.
It's gotten better. Whoa, that's powerful.
Let me try this.
Foglie di Castagno. So it literally is wrapped in chestnut leaves. Wrapped and kind of fermented in those chestnut leaves. And Kristen brought up crystallized. Yes. As it ages, just like the Goudas. It's crunchy. Rob, this is a delicious piece. So this was, you guys, seriously, if you like it, it was picked out by our manager at Mission Hills. His name's Ian. He loves this cheese, and he thought it would be perfect with this wine. So if you like it, call Ian. If you don't, talk to Rob.
No. Great job, Ian. Don't call me, please. Don't yell at me. Call me only if you're going to pat me on the back.
But wow, is that... Jason gets a cheddar note, yes, and I would get that too. Yes, creamy. Yes, crystallizy, almost like a Gouda, because I get some sweetness, and I get Parmesan-ness.
Wow, it is super sharp.
It's so good.
It doesn't have bitterness, though. I was afraid it might have some bitterness.
Me too.
It doesn't have any of that. It is a mix of cow and sheep's milk. Testun, Testun, is from the Cuneo dialect, and that's where this is from. It's from northern Italy. It's from Piedmont, but Testun means stubborn, because the cheesemaker says it's really, really hard to make this cheese. So I guess it's a tricky cheese to make for some reason. I don't know why.
It seems like you could just wrap it and set it on the shelf and be good.
Yeah, maybe it's hard to milk those sheep. I'm sure sheep are hard to. They're notoriously.
They are difficult. They're feisty.
They're feisty animals.
Yeah. Wow.
Did you know the guy?
It's so good with the wine. Again, I'm just gonna say so far 3 for 3. Sometimes we've had some misses. I think these are all hits. Just saying.
Do you know the guy who wins the hot dog eating contest every year?
The Nathan's hot dog contest.
Is it the Nathan's one?
Yeah. Isn't he like a twig that eats all these hot dogs?
Joey Chestnut. Is
that for real?
Yeah. If he was Italian, his name would be Giuseppe Castagno. Joey Chestnut. Come on, you guys know who Joey Chestnut is, right?
No, but that's good. I like it.
Yeah, those guys, they just know how to eat. They like dip the buns in water.
I know how to eat.
I know how to eat, but I don't think I would have wasted on hot dogs. I mean, hot dogs are fine, but one is enough.
Yeah, but listen to this. You could eat 20 hot dogs, but you could not eat half a wheel of Brie Fermier or Castagno. No way. That you cannot only eat a few bites of that.
It's so different because a little bit goes a long way. It is so rich and it lingers. Like I can still taste that cheese in my mouth. And that's we should touch on this. That is what you're looking for in pairing. We talk about pairing all the time. You hear about pairing and everybody wants to know how do I pair, how do I perfectly pair things? What is the science of it? The truth is there is no exact science behind it, but there are some good sort of rules of thumb or things to think about with pairing. Now, one of the things is when we're picking cheeses that are going to go on a flight that are going to be paired with really complex wine like this or craft beer, whiskeys, you're looking for cheeses that have some age on them. Because age is where cheese gets all of its character. That's where those crystals form. That's where the flavor becomes really sharp.
Age, character.
We become better with
Much
a little age.
better with age.
And so when we're looking at pairing, you're looking at a product this is a product that tastes one way on its own. You get spicy, you get something on the start, the middle, and the finish. Same with the cheese. But then when you put them together, so imagine there's 3 things happening in the wine. There's 3 things happening in the cheese. When you put them together, it's like 3 times 3. So there's 9 different things happening.
Whoa, Professor blew my mind. That's a really good point, though. Yes. Everyone so far, kudos to Ian. So beware. I think Ian in Mission Hills is the only one that has this cheese right now. So do not go to Del Mar or anything. I think it's just Ian right now. But kudos. And let's see. Joey Chestnut is a legend.
Thank you, George.
Kristen
George knows what I'm
Evans
talk about.
No, it says that you have way too much time on your hands. I'll put him to work, Kristen. I got to keep him busy. Mm-hmm. Chop, chop.
It's called research. I need to be able to talk about these things.
Full of flavor. But the crust, George. Yes. Okay, the crust. This looks gnarly. If anybody look at your pieces on your plate, some of them look gnarly. They're like tinged with brown, which you kind of go, is that good? Could that be good? Did you eat the brown edge?
It is good.
Yeah, because that's where the chestnut leaf, that's the rind essentially. The brown is the rind. That's where the chestnut leaf was wrapped around this cheese for quite a while. I forget how long these are wrapped, but quite a while.
It is good. I mean,
it's soft.
I keep being afraid that I'm going to get like a bitter part or an off part. It's not. It is perfect.
Because sometimes the more age gives it more bitterness. This does not. This is sweet.
And it's very sweet, and it's got great crunchies. The rind gives a perfect amount of texture.
Oh, God.
Ooh, that's a good one.
If only I had something to wash it down with it. But it's good with
Glass
the wine,
is
too.
empty again. I didn't pour enough for you.
The rind, Rob, is creamy. It's like a liquid Parmigiano to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's very sweet. I mean, in a good way, sweet and salty.
It has, so it's got a little bit of a pecorino influence as well because of the sheep's milk.
I agree.
The sheep's milk adds, like the color. You can tell the color on there is from just really high quality milk, and so it'll kind of be, as it ages, it'll get darker and darker and darker, and oh man, all that good stuff stays in that cheese.
Oh my God, and you nailed it. Pecorino-esque with the wine. It's superb. I gotta say, superb.
I'm looking at my notes, and my notes.
I can't take this. I'm gonna scream. It's so good.
You can scream.
I was gonna scream because everything was so shitty with the tech stuff, and now I'm gonna scream because this has been so good. How can you go from like one extreme to the other in half an hour?
I know. Now we're all happy.
Yeah. Now we're all happy. Happy is good. Oh, you've tried the jam. A couple people have tried the jam with everything. Great. Tiffany loves it with the apricot, which would be delicious. Apricot's one of my favorite with the cheeses.
It's herby and it has citrus in it. It tastes like almost like a grapefruit or something. Is there a grapefruit?
Yeah, there is one. It's that lemon. It's Nate's favorite. So Nate the plate, we call him.
Meyer lemon, maybe?
Nate made these plates. He's also in Mission Hills. Everyone can thank Mission Hills for putting these plates and such together. But we call him Nate the Plate because he whips these things up. He loves the one with the grapefruit, so that must be him.
Yeah.
You get the acid. That's probably what you're liking, right?
Yeah, it's good.
But great with the apricot. Yes, Tiffany. I agree. God, this is like 3 for 3, Rob. So good.
And now the next one we're going to go to is fully aged because the first 3 have had they've been a little bit softer. I thought the chestnut cheese was going to be firmer, but it had like a note about the texture, and I don't know if you guys got this too. It almost felt like it was like soggy. Did you get like a sogginess?
It was soggy. Why are some of those words okay in cheese though? It was soggy.
I say soggy, but yeah. I don't mean that in a hate way. That's the only way I can describe it. So
soggy's okay. It was very soggy.
And usually I don't know. I hate to say it, but I was like surprised that it was so perfect.
Me too. You're gonna tell Ian, right? Ian,
yes.
We're shocked that you picked something so good.
I know. We got to figure out a way to say it to where it's not going to sound bad. Like it can't be a backhanded compliment.
No, exactly. You want to be nice. Jason thinks Nate's a legend.
Nate is a legend.
George loves so far the Foglie de Castagno is a favorite amongst people. This is so fun.
And we're sharing this, and we still have half of it left. So that's going to be a snack for later too.
You're going to eat it all.
A little bit goes a long way if I have to.
You know what you could put that over? Huh. We were just in Julian. This is where our little retreat was. Piece of pie.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be awesome on that Julian apple pie. That's all I'm saying. Next one. Oh, thank you. You should shut up and eat this.
Just eat the Romao, okay?
So now we're going savory. And salty.
So this one, the Romao. Am I saying it right? Romao. One of my cheese names was Lil Romao for a while. Thank you. This guy is 100% sheep's milk. I'm just gonna try a
You
little.
can tell that right away. The Foglie, you get a little of the sheep, but this one screams sheep. This screams pecorino, the saltiness to me. Right?
It's
a pepper.
salty.
Yeah, it's salty.
It's rich. It's got that. It's really dense. It's
Manchego-esque too.
uh,
Sheepy.
It has a nuttiness. It tastes like, if it tastes most like manchego. That would be the cheese that's most similar.
Do you think
to.
it's more than pecorino, like manchego-y?
Both. Both. I mean, one way you can look at it is manchego is the Spanish version of pecorino, or pecorino is a Spanish.
They would say
or
the opposite.
Italian manchego.
Yeah. Which came first, the pecorino or the manchego?
Good question, but
Professor.
I don't know. That's a
I don't
good
know.
question.
Might be fun.
Um,
I would guess pecorino just because the Romans and all the way back.
That's what I was
blah,
gonna
blah,
say.
blah. Would you say that?
Uh-huh.
I jumped right onto his parade.
God, dare you took my thunder. No, the Pecorino Romano is one of the older ones, but that's probably what Roman legionnaires took with them as they went out and
For food, right?
conquered the world. Yeah, they didn't need to refrigerate it, but I mean, and one of the places, of course, they went was Spain because they were right next door, and so yeah, I would say that Manchego probably came from Pecorino Romano.
Okay, it could be. Okay, I have to see if I like this with the wine too.
They went into
Little Romeo.
You like Little Romeo?
Little Romeo, Jordan likes it.
The Romans went everywhere and taught other places how to, not taught, or I guess they invaded places and they kind of like
Forced
their culture onto other peoples and places, and so cheese, and that's how
That's a
cheese
good
making
thing that
spread.
they shared.
Winemaking spread that
Spaghetti,
way
that's a
too.
good thing too.
Yeah, exactly. But this cheese, the Lil Romeo, is from La Mancha, and that is the same region that Manchego comes from. It's a little different because Manchego, they're really specific on the rules for Manchego. It has to come from a certain breed of sheep. Real Manchegos can't have all this stuff on the rind. So they rub this cheese with the lard from Iberico ham.
It's so delicious. We should be able to buy that in a jar.
Just lard.
Lard in a jar.
Iberico lard.
A lard jar. Jar lard. Jar lard.
They a lot of cheeses do this where they'll rub oil or fat or something on the rind, and it kind of acts as a sealant, and it firms up the rind, and it
won't dry out.
Exactly.
Underneath, right? Yeah.
So it's a protective layer, but before they move on, while the lard's still there, they press on herbs, including rosemary and other things, and that's still there. So you can eat that.
I love it with the herb because we often say eat the rosemary with your cheese, but now it's already on there.
Yeah.
This is so subtle together. It goes so well together. It's interesting because to me, normally we end with something on the sweet side, so you could end with the Foglie de Castagno if you have any of that left instead of the savory. But it's nice to finish with the savory too.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like a French style. I don't know.
This is definitely like probably the most traditional type of wine. I'm sorry, cheese with this type of wine. Like a firm, dry, aged kind of situation.
The IT guy just looked at our setup and was like, "What is going on here?" I was like, "I don't know. I'll talk to you later." Sorry. Yes, that dry. Yes, I'm sorry. I digress.
Yeah. So, but hopefully the wine also kind of gives it a little balance and some texture. And part of with pairing, you're not just pairing flavor, you're pairing texture as well. And so it gives that kind of that wetness that your mouth needs when you have a really dry aged cheese like this.
Which is kind of nice. So, Rob, today we did everything because that Brie de Meaux, of course, so creamy, dreamy, coats the tongue. You have the pliableness of the Funky Monk. What did you call the you said squishiness. What was the word you used?
I said it was not shaggy.
Shaggy,
like
squishy.
Wetness. It
I
was
don't know.
like it was
Soggy.
damp,
The
soggy.
sogginess of the soggy. I often hear you can't call it gooey, that's gross, and soggy, gross.
Soggy sounds bad.
In cheese, it's good. Mold is good.
I mean, the Funky Monk has a rubberiness,
Another
which is
word,
bad.
which should be bad, but it's really
I'm
good.
just trying to, describe it in a way that people
will understand. We captured all the textures today. That was very fun, and every single one to me went with the wine, 100%.
Nice. And then
No
this guy, the Romeo, is from Toledo. It's made just outside of Toledo, which is the big city there, south of Madrid.
South of Madrid. Okay, I don't know Toledo, so
It's so middle of the country, but south of Madrid, and there's a big university and a huge cathedral there. It's a beautiful place.
Have you gone to Spain much? I've been to just Barcelona. I've not been.
I've been to Spain once. I've maybe been in airports, but one time where I've actually, like, I can never remember where I've been if we're counting airports, but
yeah, exactly. Does that count?
But one time, kind of driving all around the country, and we did Barcelona to Madrid, and then we went down into the south, which the basically bottom half of the country is Andalusia, which is a huge region, and that's where like Seville and Marbella and all the way down to Gibraltar. And then when you cross that Strait of Gibraltar, you have Morocco and Africa right there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So crazy influences. Again, when you see more spices down there, again, with the Morocco. You can see that connection between neighboring places. Yeah.
Well, Spain.
We have, in San Diego, we have the Mexican, influence of tacos and burrito, right?
Well, yes.
It's your neighbors.
And in Spain, you have like the Romans that came from one way. You had the Moors, the Africans that came from the other way. And so there's this awesome kind of blend of culture, and a good place to see that where the culture blends is in the food.
Oh, 100%.
And that may be the best way. Didn't Anthony Bourdain say something about that? To get to know a culture, eat with them.
Food. Yeah.
Eat with them, eat their food.
Yeah, for sure, Rob. That goes to tours now. Like Spain, that's the underrated, to me, European countries. Everybody knows France, Italy, right? The big boys, right? But Spain gets kind of like pushed aside, and there's so many good cheeses, wines, foods, right? From there.
Yeah.
So Spanish tour, for sure.
The only thing I can't deal with is that I'm
gonna laugh hysterically.
You can probably predict what I'm gonna say. They don't eat until midnight. I can't deal with that.
You're like, this is wrong. Yeah. I don't know what you would do there.
I remember
a troubling situation.
Yeah, I needed lunch one time. Like when I first got there, I needed lunch at noon. You couldn't find food
They're sleeping
anywhere. They were sleeping till 3 p.m. I was so mad.
Angry. You were angry.
I was angry. Oh.
Yeah, this is a problem. We'll work on the scheduling.
Yeah. Thank you. Call Spain, please.
Did you know Kristen's husband's named Rob too?
Oh, hey Rob. Good name.
Rob and Rob.
Roberto. In Spain and in Italy, we're Roberto.
Roberto.
Or Robert.
Love them all. I loved them all today, Rob. Did you?
I did.
Do you have a favorite?
I did. I think my favorite was the Foglie di Castagno.
Are you going to tell Ian?
I will. I'll have to. I'd like to give Ian a hard time, but I'm going to have to just
I think you're going to have to fuss up and just say, painful.
Great job, Ian. But I think I like the first three the best, because I do also. That's tough. I don't know. That's a tough one, because Brie Fermier is maybe one of my all-time favorites. And I don't get Funky Monk a lot, but I thought it was
so good today.
Really good today.
All of them good. All of them great with the wine.
What's your favorite?
Carmenere. I can't say a favorite. This is tough too. Do I do them in order? I can't. I'm putting the Brie Fermier and the Foglie like neck and neck because I love this so much. And then I'm neck and neck because it's so good with the wine. So it's just been fun.
So you're not going to answer the question?
I'm not answering the question. All I really want, I wish I had a tomahawk steak because I would love to finish this with that. I know I had some this last weekend. I don't remember, but I know it was really good together. And it's been great with these meaty, bold things. So a Carmenere, I'm going to look for more of them. Let's just put it that way. I like it.
Beautiful.
And I want to go to Chile. We'll have to do a tour down there.
I would love to go.
And George, thank you. He said tonight was the total package. Yeah, it was, because it was like you got to see our kitchen table when I was moving the camera around. You got to see us in midget size because we're so far away from you. I still don't know what this is about. But thank you for joining with us. What do we have next, Rob? Oh my God. Can I?
I don't know what we have next.
It's not completely next. So there's a Meet the Makers. If anyone wants to delve into one cheesemaker, then Meet the Makers is next. And it's Old Chatham is the cheesemaker. And Monday there's a class you can just get a plate of all Old Chatham cheeses. That's the 20, whatever Monday is, 23rd or 4th, I think.
And that is something that we started with another cheesemaker called Point Reyes, and we thought, Well, now with technology, with Zoom, we do Zoom for that one.
Yeah.
Now we can start having cheesemakers do tastings without flying them to San Diego.
Yeah, so
and we can every month we can have a new cheesemaker jump on, and you can talk directly and ask questions to the cheesemaker.
That's really cool because they have a hugely different perspective than we do, right, Rob? Like the amount of work they put in to make this happen is crazy, and to be able to ask them questions direct, which I can't answer, is really cool. So Meet the Maker, Old Chatham, which is a New York.
They're New York, upstate New York.
Upstate New York, cheesemaker. But after that, you guys, Rob, our first hybrid event. Yes. So in June, things are lifting, things are getting much, much better out there. So we're doing hybrid orange wine. Have you ever tried? I have not tried an orange wine ever in my life.
I mean, I've seen it. I mean, literally, it's color orange, right?
It's the color orange. It's the color of crimson, the sunset that we talked about. So we're doing on June 2nd, you guys. This is going to be super fun. You can take your pick. We're going to be in Del Mar, and so Rob and I will be in Del Mar live. You can have your pick. You can just order the orange wine and cheese plate, just like this. We're going to talk it up and pair them together. You can also add a painting kit. Have you ever seen those wine and Vino and painting parties? So it is that. You can order a painting kit, and you can either paint at home. We are doing a painting of wine and cheese. How shocking.
Are we painting?
I think you're painting. I don't know when one of us is painting. One of us is painting. You can paint. You can eat the cheese and drink the wine. You can do any of the combos. You can just order the painting kit. You can do whatever. You can join us. We're going to be in Del Mar live. You can join us there, or you can paint from home.
Wait, hold on.
From home. Get it?
But they can't be in Del Mar with us.
Yeah.
They can be there in person?
Physically. Oh. This is our first hybrid event.
Oh, awesome. I didn't, okay.
Now
I'm understanding. I'm understanding. Sorry, I'm a little slow.
So yes, it'll be a combination. You pick. You want to be there, you want to be at home, in pajamas, you can do anything. But it's going to be super fun. That's June 2nd, orange wine.
Cool.
So I hear it's very good. We have our wine connoisseurs in Del Mar pick the wines for all of this for us. They claim the orange wine is very good. The orange wine is called Art Terra. So we're doing art the same night that we're drinking this
Wow.
wine. Anyway, I digress again.
No, that's
the whole night.
That's cool. That's very...
Thank you, Chris and George. I see Jason. Oh, Foglie's like a barrel strength bourbon.
Yeah.
In your face.
Yeah.
Almost overwhelming, but in the best way. Can I tell you, Jason, come the holidays, there is a bourbon soaked Foglie something. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That's the tobacco. I'm sorry. It's the tobacco.
But it kind of has like a lot of times really big red wines and the whiskeys, like they get those. It reminds you of that.
Yes.
Because of the tobacco.
Completely that. Those will be.
Or like leathery.
Leathery. Which in wine and cheese is good. Mold is good. Ooey gooey squishy, we all good. Thank you guys for bearing with us tonight. By the time next time comes around, we'll have all this fixed. And appreciate it as always. Enjoy the rest of your cheeses. I can't believe you didn't eat more.
Oh, I'll eat more. Don't you worry about that.
On that note, good night, au revoir, arrivederci. How do you say it in Belgium? Belgian.
Oh, good question. Bye.
Bye. And how about in Spanish?
Adios.
Adios. Good night, everybody. Take care.
Bye.